top five, top five, top five.
Yeah, girl, you ready to do this? You ready to count this thing down? We're doing the top five, her. Yeah, let's set it off with 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Ranked Top 5 Lists of Stuff That Don't Matter. I'm your host, Tuong Law, and I am so excited. We have a brand new crew of Rankians? I don't know. I got to work on that. But we are using the interwebs to bring in guests who have never stepped into the pod cavern. But the pod cavern's on the internet now, baby. And it turns out Montreal has the internet too. So I have friends all the way from Montreal, and I'm excited to bring them here today. And the first guest I want to introduce, we have the Valorant, yet vile, and a little bit viscous. I'm really bad at adjectives. I'm sorry. Vinny Francois.
Hey, those are all accurate, so fair play.
Yeah. How viscous are you?
I mean, it depends on how bad my hay fever gets.
Well, Vinny, thank you for joining us today. This is exciting.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm pumped to rank some fictional horses.
I'm stoked. Do you want to introduce the next guest?
Yeah, our next guest is the education director, French education director at Montreal Improv Theater. She's a wonderful performer and teacher and an all-around great person. It's Kadi.
Heyo,
Kadi.
how's it going?
Wow, that was a real introduction. you gave her titles and everything.
Well,
Yeah,
finding adjectives with the letter K is generally challenging, so thank you, Vinny, for choosing to not do that.
I can't even think of one. So, nope, I still can't think of
Knowledgeable.
knowledgeable. Yeah, that's good.
That's about it.
Well, that's a good one to go with. Kadi, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, can you introduce the final guest?
Absolutely. So we also have the trivia master, the man with many opinions, none other than Stefan Spec.
That's me. Thank you for having me.
I didn't know you're a trivia master.
I wouldn't call myself a master. I know quite a bit about, or not quite a bit. I know a shallow amount about a lot of things.
Do you usually win trivia night is my question?
I've won it once.
Well, that's one more time than I've ever won trivia. So.
Trivia nights, everyone, you go to trivia night and you're like, I'm good at things, I know things, and then you realize you know a very small subset.
That's right.
Like you're like they're only going to ask songs about like mid-90s pop music, obviously. And
Right.
then they talk about like Germany in 1920s.
What is your trivia of choice? If you're like, if I were to put on like this genre trivia night, what would you be like super stoked for?
I'd be stoked for like current movies, celebrity gossip, or
Okay.
generally I'm okay at like science questions, but it depends. But like pop science, none of that
Wow,
real science shit.
You're all over the place.
I'm a jack of some specific trades.
Well, thank you for being on the show, Stefan. But of course, we brought you all in here today to talk about horses, fictional horses. And we had a bunch of topics that we were going to go, but you're all really gung-ho about horses. So I'm really...
fictional horses.
Yeah. We must rank these horses. I can't believe this topic hasn't been done yet. Before we get started, we have to come up with the ground rules. Now, I thought this would be easy to come up with the ground rules, but there apparently, like, there's a lot of stuff that we have to cover in these ground rules. So my first question to you, without getting too specific, are Pegasi a horse?
I would say that a Pegasus is a horse because the definition of a Pegasus is a winged horse.
Agreed.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's essential. I think that forgetting the Pegasi population would discredit some of the work that we're doing here.
It would discredit the entire list. You're right. Okay, here's my next question. How about, this has been talked a lot about unicorns. What do you think about that?
I'm less open to unicorns.
I
feel like they are less of a horse than a Pegasus. in the same way that a narwhal is less of a dolphin.
Wait, is a narwhal closer to a dolphin than to a whale?
No,
Whale.
it's probably closer to a whale.
Okay.
So a narwhal is definitely not a dolphin.
Same logic applies to a unicorn.
Yeah. I found a definition of unicorn on the interwebs, and it says traditional unicorn are not just horse with a horn in the middle of its forehead, but unicorns are often portrayed as having a mix of horse-like features, goat-like features, and lion-like characteristics.
Wow.
So,
Really?
Yeah, I don't see that many unicorns in general, but it seems like that's the traditional definition of a unicorn. So I think it's...
So the only unicorn mythology that I know is that you generally have to be a virgin to ride one.
Is this true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is part of unicorn lore. I was big into unicorns as a child. It was an important part of my development. Unicorns also have magical properties, and that's really important. They carry their magic within their horn as a rhino or a narwhal.
Wait, are rhinos magical?
I believe that they are.
Okay.
They're
all right.
basically the real unicorns, if we're being honest.
For real.
Okay.
I agree.
And from my understanding, if you happen to be in the situation where you've split your soul into 7 Horcruxes, the blood of a unicorn will keep you going when you're strapped to the back of a man's head.
Correct.
That's
Okay, I'm glad that's still accurate.
And you also have to have had a 3-way to ride a rhinoceros.
Wow, there's a lot of rules. I didn't know all this. Okay, so I guess if I have a lot of sex, then I can ride a rhino. But if I have never have sex, then I can ride a unicorn. So that's a tough decision.
Well, it's not necessarily a lot of sex, just one threesome.
Just one 3-way. Okay, well, good to know. Okay, so it sounds like unicorn is off the table, and I'm okay with that too.
I'm okay with that.
A couple more that I want to go through because this is tricky. But what do you guys think about zebras, donkeys, mules, and ponies?
Oh, interesting.
Not horses.
Not horses.
Not horses.
Yeah, unfortunately, not horses.
So I looked it up, and they are all under the horse-like species, like family kind of thing. But when you break it down, like they're all descendants of the same, like horses, quote unquote. But when you like break it down, they are technically different species. Now, I would accept ponies because they're just tinier horses, from my understanding. But zebras and donkeys and mules feel like completely different things. What do you guys think about that?
Well, mule is half horse, half donkey, correct?
Yeah.
So I was thinking about this when we were talking about centaurs in the chat before the podcast, is that I feel like if you nominate a mule or a centaur, you have to look at the personality of that fictional animal and decide which elements of that personality are from the horse side and which are from the donkey or human side. And only the horse portions of the personality should be eligible for our ranking.
Yeah. Right. So if you nominate a centaur from Harry Potter or whatever, you are nominating the horse
bottom.
part, the bottom half. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. All right. I think we got our ground rules.
Good
You
to
guys
go.
ready to go?
Yeah.
Damn right, I'm ready to fight.
All right, let's fight. Just like every episode of Ranked, we're going to go around 3 times, nominating 3 nominations each, making a master list of 12 and whittling that down to a top 5 fictional horse list. Let's neigh. N-E-I-H. Okay. All right. That's the best joke I have. My first nomination, I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way because we already talked about it already, sort of. And I'm going to nominate Pegasus from Hercules, the animated version.
Nice.
The Disney movie. Yeah. I think he's a great pal. He comes in the nick of time always. He's very loyal. And he's just, I think, Pegasus, is that Pegasi plural? I'm going to say it is.
I doubt it.
Well, as trivia master, I'm going to go with what you say.
I think technically it would be Pegapodes.
I just think he's a badass companion, and I'm a sucker for that movie, to be honest with you. But I think he's also Zeus made him out of a cloud. That's pretty cool. Cute as a baby, feisty. just a loyal companion, which you want in a horse.
Wait, is cute as a baby part of the mythical description of Pegasus?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Unfortunately, your Pegasus trivia is not as good, but I'm here to back you up on this.
It's not one of my strong suits.
What do you guys think about Pegasus from Hercules?
Specifically the animated Hercules?
That's the one, yeah.
He's okay. I think once you pass the cute stage, I mean, he's a good Disney sidekick, but there's better.
Better Disney sidekicks? Oh, wow.
Or better
I think
Pegapodes.
there are other better, even Disney horses.
Well, we can get to that. Of course, we can get to that, of course. But no love for Pegasus here. I'm shocked.
I do find, and you touched upon this in your description, and everyone touched upon, is that a lot of times horses are relegated to the sidekick role, and they're like a supporting character for the main person. And I don't know how that will affect the ranking, but I tried to pick things that were more horse forward.
You want the horse to be the main character of the bunch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Although when you see my nominations, you'll realize that I didn't. I was not consistent.
Well, I can't wait to see it.
I think it's important. I think it's important though, just to note that, in terms of Disney sidekick animals, Pegasus is he's very useful and kind and lovely and all that. But they have done so much more. Just think of Hey Hey in Moana. Think of, even before Hercules, Miko in Pocahontas.
Wait a second. Hey Hey over Pegasus in terms of a useful sidekick?
Any day of the week.
That is, Kadi, this is our first podcast together.
It might be the last.
We might be the last time. That is insane. That is an insane statement, and I object.
Okay.
All right.
For me personally, one of my just barely didn't make the cut was Maximus from Tangled.
Yeah, I was going to say Maximus is probably the premiere.
Hey, listen, someone might nominate it, all right?
That's true.
Let's not get ahead of the curve.
I'm here to shake up the format, Tom.
I had to prepare 12 horses in case other people pick my horses, so it's all my.
That's right. But the thing, Pegasus, he fought titans, man. He went to battle against these gods and these these real big bad guys. He has no fear about it.
By himself?
Go into battle.
By himself he did this, or?
Oh, he went with Hercules.
Oh no.
But that's why I'm saying he's a good pal. He's a good pal. Good horse.
I feel like I'm coming down way hard on your Pegasus nomination, and I haven't heard any of the others. So
that's true. That's true. Let's hear Vinny's and then badmouth his.
Yeah.
Vinny, what do you got?
I mean, I'm gonna go, and I do like. I've got a couple that I want to go with. Number one, I'm gonna go with this one. Number one nomination is going to be Shadowfax from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
I knew that was coming up.
It's a gloriously beautiful horse.
We talking books, Lord of the Rings, or movies, Lord of the Rings, or all?
You know what? I'll go with the book one, but the one in the movies is majestic. Slow mo hair toss. Mm-hmm. It's
great hair,
right out of a shampoo commercial.
Now, and who plays Shadowfax in the movie?
I don't know the actor's name.
Do you want to explain who Shadowfax is in the Lord?
So, Gandalf is a Maiar in the world of Lord of the Rings, a wizard. Starts off as Gandalf the Grey, but returns to the story later on, spoiler, as Gandalf the White. And as a wizard, he has his own horse who helps carry him around. And that horse is Shadowfax, a gift of the gods to Gandalf.
He's the Lord of all horses, to be clear.
He is the Lord of all horses, that's right.
Gandalf or Shadowfax?
Shadowfax. Lord of all horses. He can run very far, very fast, doesn't get tired, and can be beckoned and summoned by Gandalf anywhere.
I wrote this down with Shadowfax because he was going to be one of my nominations. Was he is capable of comprehending human speech and was said to run faster than the wind.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Pretty vague. That's just like a breeze. Not impressed. We're talking hurricane.
Than a breeze. I think by definition.
That's true. That's a good
breeze. Point. Great nomination, Vinny. What do we got, Kadi?
All right. My first nomination is the very important Swiftwing / Horsey from She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. Now, we are first introduced to Horsey in the first season, who is this beautiful kind of like taupe horse, very elegant, like very, very sharp horse features. And Adora, who is also She-Ra, falls completely, like she has never seen a horse before. And she's just like, what is this incredible creature? And as she finds the sword of Grayskull and all that and transforms into She-Ra, Horsey turns into Swiftwind, who is not a unicorn. He is an alicorn. And
wait, what is that?
It means that in the lore and in the fandom of She-Ra, he is not a freaking unicorn.
Okay.
It just says alicorn. I don't know. So Swiftwind is awesome because Swiftwind gets the gift of being able to speak when he is transformed from Horsey, which is awesome. He also chooses to name himself and refuses to be taken advantage of. And
horse forward,
right? He likes people to ask before they ride him. He's not like everybody's horse. He belongs to She-Ra. He is part of her magical powers. He's a strong and independent man who helps when he wants to, and also loves to eat hay.
All right. You sold me at the hay part. I relate.
It's a good pick on my list too.
Swiftwind. I just have to just to be clear to the audience, because they're gonna be like, wait a second, because I just googled Swiftwind and this looks like a unicorn to me. I know it evolved like a Pokemon to this form. It was a horse, and then it became a unicorn.
An alicorn. He also has wings, which would put him in the Pegasus category.
Did a quick Google over here as well, and technically an alicorn is half unicorn, half Pegasus.
Boom.
Okay.
So I don't know how I feel about that. We're getting a lot of non-horse elements in this one creature.
Because this is the same thing where, mules were half donkey and half horse, and we didn't count that.
Well,
so,
if a alicorn is half Pegasus, which is fully eligible, and half unicorn, which is half eligible, it's 3/4 eligible, and I would put it in the okay category.
All right.
Math.
Haha.
You mathed us hard. Okay. If people at Ranked disagree with this, then whatever. We're going to do it anyways. So. All right. Well, it's Swiftwind, not Horsey, right? Horsey becomes Swiftwind.
Correct.
Okay.
How many stages of evolution are there?
2.
There may be a third level.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
What intellectual property is this?
This belongs to She-Ra and the Princesses of Power.
Which is
the new She-Ra series on Netflix.
What was the
like
old
He-Man?
Okay, it is it because I heard Grayskull. I was like, I thought that was a He-Man thing.
Yeah.
I guess it's an extended universe.
That's right.
Yeah,
well, She-Ra is He-Man's cousin. So.
Oh.
They rebooted the She-Ra series for Netflix, but not the He-Man one.
Oh, they are doing the reboot of the He-Man series with Kevin Smith directing it, apparently. So.
Really?
Oh, that's gonna be good.
Oh, with the track record he's had recently, it's going to be amazing.
Stefan, you're very horse forward, as we've already established. Now, I'm excited to hear your first nomination.
I think when we think about horses and fictional characters, it's important to think about what we learn from them, about ourselves and about the world, and what we take from a main character and the hero of whatever it may be that you are consuming, whether that hero is a good person or a bad person. And I like when it takes a number of seasons to find that out. And if it's not even clear at the end, then that's all the better. So my first nomination is, of course, a celebrity, a addict, narcissist, the one and only BoJack Horseman.
Yes, very good. Mm-hmm. He was going to be my next pick, so
I wanted to get him out first because I figured someone else would take him.
Now, I will say, because he's also a man, but he's primarily a horse. So
I'd say mostly a horse. He's
mostly a horse.
He's a horse.
Yeah,
he just happens to be able to talk
for sure.
Have the rest of you all seen this show?
I have not, but I have seen pictures of BoJack Horseman, and he wears a sweater like no one else. Like,
Yes.
strong sweater game.
Very strong sweater game. He's also that show is amazing. That show is incredible. I think it's one of my favorite shows. And his arc, he's a terrible person. Let's not beat around the bush here. But
True.
His growth and what they show in the show is unlike anything I've seen in a lot of TV. So I have a huge fondness for BoJack Horseman.
It's very in depth. He feels real. He's done some bad things, done a lot of bad things. And just to be clear, to Kadi's point, I did indeed nominate him for his sweater game. I actually haven't seen the show. Kadi and I happened to be looking at pictures of BoJack Horseman.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, wow, this horse can wear a fucking sweater.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And he can drink. He's good. He's a good partier. So
yeah, depending on which season you're watching and which part of which season.
Yeah.
But that's something that when I was younger I admired very much, and now that I'm older, I have more mixed feelings.
Now,
on it.
I'd like to ask a question about BoJack Horseman.
Yeah.
He does not have hooves. He has hands, which may have, for me, led to an interpretation that he is sort of reverse centaur, because he has hands and feet.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we've ever seen his feet. I don't know what kind of weird Google searches you're doing, Kadi.
He's wearing shoes.
Yeah, but you can wear a shoe over a hoof. It's called a shoof.
Yep.
I'm unfamiliar
This is
with it.
true.
No, I have a photo of him right here, sitting in a bathrobe and boxers on the edge of a pool, holding a beer. He looks like he's hungover, and he has calves and feet like a man, and a belly like a man, and basically it's just his head that is that of a horse.
You got a lot of pictures of BoJack lying around.
I think BoJack is definitely more horse than man.
I would agree. That he played notable horses in films. His TV show was called Horsin' Around.
Yep.
Only a true horse could play Secretariat, whether that be real life or CG version of him.
And all the animals in that show have human hands, if I remember correctly, and human feet.
Except the birds, for some reason. The birds still have wings.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think it's a great nomination, Stefan. Thank you so much. Let's go to round 2. Now, round 2, I'm scared because a lot of my horses are not the main character, and I feel like with this crew, it might be a detriment to nominate them, but I'm gonna just follow my heart and do it anyways, because
Follow your heart.
Fuck it, my show, my rules. Okay. So my next nomination is gonna come from a video game. So this is gonna be a wild card because I don't know how many video games you all play. I feel like if anyone, Vinny should know this, but my next nomination is gonna come from the Legend of Zelda series. And I am choosing his sidekick, the number one horse in that entire game, Epona. Now, what do you think about that?
So this is something actually that my girlfriend brought up when we were talking about this before, and she suggested that as a nomination. And I've never played Zelda, so I didn't take it. But she did point out that apparently there are levels where you play as just the horse.
In the new Zelda game?
I don't know about probably not the new one.
Epona doesn't show up unless as an amiibo. You have to import Epona into the game.
Okay.
But there are sections where you do play, and not in Ocarina, but I think I forget which one that is.
Yeah, Epona's appeared on like many of the video games. We got Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, The Minish Cap, Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild. But you're right that she can only be brought in by an amiibo for the new game. Yeah, I think she's a great horse. I mean, for me, she is probably the most iconic video game horse around. Very reliable. In some games, if you're riding her, then she has like unlimited stamina, so she can run for days. Link, the main character, can't get hurt when he's riding her in some games too, so I think that's pretty cool. So Epona gives the rider invincibility, which is also a good sidekick trait. And it's also, if you look up a picture of Epona, a very pretty horse.
Beautiful. Sometimes portrayed as a Clydesdale, sometimes not. Interesting.
Yeah. Kadi, have you ever played a Legend of Zelda game?
On the very first Nintendo console, I played twice. The second time that I played, I erased all of my brother's progress. So I have never played
No.
Zelda since.
Wow.
I think the cool thing about Epona is she was introduced in Ocarina of Time, so you see her as like a pony, like it's not a pony, like a really young horse, and then you time travel, spoilers, in that game, and then you get Epona as like an older horse that has gone through some shit, but this horse, like, I think in video games especially, you spend so much time traveling the world, the open world of a video game, that you spend a lot of time with this horse, and you as a player develop this type of connection with this video game horse, because you're like, oh, this is the thing that will allow me to travel the world, and I can see all the parts of it in a quicker manner. So to me, Epona is the best.
Now I have can you customize what Epona looks like in the game?
No.
In Breath of the Wild, maybe? Do you know?
No.
You can't even have it. She comes with a unique saddle, and you can't even change her mane braids.
Now,
okay, so that means Epona's independent.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like in other video games involving horses, I'm thinking here of Red Dead Redemption. I feel like you are able to customize your horse.
Yep, you can.
So I like that the game developers kind of said this is the horse.
This is Epona. You don't get this is a character like that. It's not just any old horse that you get to mess around with.
Who are you to decide what a horse looks like? Yeah. You're not a horse god.
You know shadow facts.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Breath of the Wild, you can get any number of horses that you can customize, but Epona you cannot. So that just speaks to Epona. Let's move on. Vinny, what do you got?
Well, we've gone through quite a few of my choices already, Epona being one of them. So I'm going to go to books once again for my next pick. And this is a series of books that I read. I devoured them all when I was younger because I was a big book reader. And it will be The Black Stallion. Black Stallion is a series of books. It was about a young boy who was also a jockey, because I guess he was the right size, and comes across the Black Stallion, also known as the Black, and just rides this beautiful black horse to many victories. And all of the races were always very excitingly described. And each book ended with this wonderful ending. Of like you didn't think he was going to win, and then somehow the Black Stallion wins again. And I have a lot of fond memories and nostalgia for those books. I have not read one since I was probably like 10, but I have a lot of fond memories of them. So my next nomination for Fictional Horse is The Black Stallion.
There are several books for The Black Stallion. Like
it's a whole series, yeah.
It's a whole series, and it's always the same Black Stallion.
Yes, it's always the same. It's always and it always ends in a horse race.
And do they just call it The Black Stallion, or does it have a name?
Nope, it does not have a name. It does not. The Black Stallion.
This is not a horse to be tamed unless it wants to be tamed, right? This is very romantic. I like it.
It's super great. It's like a very wild horse and only really responds to the boy who rides him.
But wait, it always ends in a horse race, and does the Black Stallion always win?
Yes.
Even though it doesn't look like it sounds like
I would like to note that every time someone says Black Stallion, I keep picturing like some porn actor walking in. It's just the more we emphasize the Black Stallion side of it, it's I find it very fun.
Is it the stallion part of the Black Stallion wording that's getting to you?
I think it's the insistence on black, perhaps.
Now, if it was the Italian stallion, it would be a completely different horse altogether.
Right.
Totally different horse.
Great. Well, great nomination. I've heard about the Black Stallion, but I've never read a single book or didn't even know what it was about until you mentioned it. So that's pretty cool.
So what? I can't get over the fact that the kid will go into the stable, let's say in the morning, and be like, "Hey, the Black Stallion, how are you?"
Yeah. How does he refer?
Yeah.
They just call him the Black Stallion.
Or even worse, like, "Hey, the Black." I mean, that really doesn't sound good.
Yeah,
hope not.
I mean, these books are from the 40s, so maybe they didn't think about that back then.
Oh, shit.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Never
yes.
as a 10-year-old, I did not pick up on the subtext, but I mean, it is a black horse, so I don't know what else you would necessarily get.
Who also does porn, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the adult series.
Yes. Oh,
That's the only
I
reason
think
why
I'm
I'm
giving
gonna-
myself permission that if ever I own a horse, I'm going to call it, because I am a black person, I'm totally calling my horse the N-word. It's going to be awesome. Gallop through fields.
Wow. Oh boy. I mean, you have permission, I guess, to do that without it being too weird.
Can you imagine the person announcing the race?
Oh boy.
I love it.
Let's
I love
move
it.
on. Let's move on. Kadi, what do you have?
Are you ready for my next suggestion? All right, mine comes from TV. So this horse is Superstar. This is a horse that appeared, it's a 25-year-old horse whose untimely demise, rocked an entire community. I am talking about one Lil Sebastian from Parks and Recreation.
That's good.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Lil Sebastian is not a pony. He is a mini horse. And that is his occupation. He is the hero of Pawnee, Indiana. He is very important. He appears in an episode in season 3 called Harvest Festival. It's very important. Lil Sebastian has diabetes. But that is because he is an old man, but he is also a supporter of marketing ploys. He's just lovely. He's got great hair. And he is small enough that he can go into people's offices and bring them joy. So yeah, Lil Sebastian.
Everyone in Pawnee loves
Even Ron
Lil
Swanson.
Sebastian.
Yes, very
Yeah.
much so.
Ben Wyatt, not so much.
doesn't get it.
He doesn't get it. But
He just doesn't get it.
he doesn't get it. Everyone loves Lil Sebastian. He's adorable, and he has a song.
He does. Bye bye,
Yeah.
Lil Sebastian. It is a very moving tribute.
Bye bye, little Sebastian.
He also
great.
comes back. He also comes back as a hologram in season 6, and I think that that's important to mention because not many horses get this kind of treatment.
Wow, that's
a good
banger
one. That's
and a sleeper
a
hit.
very
of a
horse-forward
nomination.
suggestion.
Thank you.
Stefan,
all
what do you
right.
got?
So, we're talking a lot about modern horses, and it's important to think about what we can learn from history and probably, I don't know, lessons, the perils of arrogance, the perils of receiving things without any sacrifice on your own part, what it's like to fight in a war. And so my nomination is the classic Trojan horse.
Like
the
the
wooden
one?
Trojan horse that stored Greek soldiers and was led into the city of Troy for them to wreak havoc on the general populace.
Wow. Now the Council of Fictional Horses here. Are we accepting this non-living horse as a nomination? I like the gusto of it, so I'm prepared to.
I'm here for it. I'm here
Yeah,
for it.
I like it going off the board.
Thanks, guys.
Like, off a technicality, I will say yes. I will take it. Vinny, you mentioned in the chat that does seahorse count, and I would say off a technicality, I would say that would
That's
also
true.
count too. So, do you know much about the Trojan
did some
horse?
research. I know. So first,
Yeah.
I had to make sure that the Trojan horse was fictional because I wasn't sure if it was real, and probably most likely it is fictional. The actual story of the Trojan horse, it could be a number of things. It could first refer to a boat, because a lot of the language that was used to describe the soldiers getting into the horse was the same as the language described when one is getting on a boat. It could also be a reference to an earthquake that felled the walls of Troy. Or it could also be a reference to the siege weapons that they used to bust down the gates of Troy, because often they were modeled after animals, and the people using the battering ram, for instance, were protected by animal hide against the arrows. So probably there was no real horse, but it came from one of those other three things. So fictional.
Interesting. Yeah, I love it. That's
Thank
a great
you.
nomination.
For sure.
Let us move on to the final round. Round 3. Bow, bow, bow. This is crazy because a lot of my nominations have already been taken. And we forgot to mention this in the ground rules. I think if it's a fictionalized version of a real horse, I would take that too, just in case anyone has one of those lying around. But my next nomination is not one of those. And I have a hard time describing this movie because I haven't seen it in a very long time. But it's horse forward, which is why I'm bringing it to the table. And it's a horse that I remember vividly. It's just been so long since I've seen the movie. So I pulled up a Rotten Tomatoes movie summary of it to share with the people. I'm talking about Spirit.
Stallion of the West.
Stallion
Of the Cimarron.
Cimarron.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen this movie in a long time? Maybe you can describe it better than me or better than this movie description. Otherwise, I'll just read what they have here.
I'd say
I've never
read
seen
it.
that movie.
All right.
I've never seen it either.
One of the main things that I like about this movie is that it has really, at least for its time, 2002, had very beautiful animation. I think it would still hold up. But here we go. So Spirit, a wild Mustang stallion living free in the Old West of the late 19th century, where he's captured by human horse traders and sold to a cavalry regiment at a frontier outpost. There, a cruel colonel nearly succeeds in breaking the willful horse, but not quite. Spirit escapes in the company of another captive, Little Creek, a Native American youth that tries to possess the magnificent animal by more humane means. But Spirit refuses to bend to human will, even when he makes the acquaintance of Little Creek's beautiful and fiercely loyal mare, Rain. After he saves Little Creek's life in an army raid, Spirit believes that the gravely injured Rain has perished after a tumble over a waterfall. Despondent, the horse is captured again by humans, enslaved this time for work in a pack team on the Transcontinental Railroad. Undaunted by the tragedies that befall him, Spirit manages to escape for a reunion with Little Creek, Rain, and his long-lost brethren.
Wow. I don't know about you guys. I'm crying.
I can feel the tears
I'm
over the
smearing
internet
them onto
right
my
now.
microphone so that you can all feel them.
And then somewhere around here, he becomes like the leader of the pack of horses and whatever. So Spirit got a lot going on. Yeah.
He's a very handsome horse too. Like I remember that from seeing the movie when it came out. He's just like a beautiful tan with like that little brown nose, right?
Yeah, he got some Mad Fabio hair in some of these poster shots here. Does he lose points for not being a black stallion?
Well, looking at the IMDb trivia, apparently his father was a black stallion.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's amazing. I did not know that.
That explains his tan colored.
That's right.
there was a book called Esperanza that was a prequel based around Spirit's parents. Spirit's dad is a black stallion named Strider. And there are also books based on Rain's family history. Her mother is named Sierra, and her grandmother was a pampered riding horse named Bonita.
Spirit's also voiced by Matt Damon. So, Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
So he gets some points there,
I don't know
too.
if that's a plus or a minus.
Depends. The public seems to go back and forth on Matt Damon, so depends where the public is at.
Yeah. And I believe Spirit the horse only says Matt Damon as all his lines of dialogue in the movie. So we're going to move on. Vinny, your final nomination. What do you got?
I have a couple here to choose from, but I'm going for the one that pleases me the most. This is not one of the greatest fictional horses of all time.
Sell
but it tickles me. I'm going
Go with your heart.
Now this is a fictional horse. It appears in The Simpsons in the episode where Lisa gets a fortune telling at the fair, and we see a flash forward. And I'm talking about at the fair we do see a showing of the mighty Esquilax with the head of a rabbit and the body of a rabbit.
Oh my god!
And so I'm going with the Esquilax.
Wait, it's a rabbit?
It's a horse with the head of a rabbit and the body of a rabbit.
I love this nomination. That's funny. It is technically a rabbit, but Chief Wiggum does refer to
How
it
do you
as a
spell
horse.
Esquilax?
Esquilax.
I want to see. This is when it would have really behooved me to have watched The Simpsons in my life.
Oh no!
So now I feel ostracized.
Well, it's never too late. It's all on Disney Plus now for your.
This
your
is when
viewing
it would
pleasure,
have
and you can see
behooved
the
me
Escalade.
to sign up for Disney Plus.
You can't reuse it and get a second laugh.
I'll just wait till it comes around the third time.
I'll get that. It's
It'll be
funny,
funny
again. I get
again.
it.
Just like horse forward. I'm going to keep
That's,
saying horse forward until.
I'm going to take this nomination as also a technicality. What do you think, Kadi?
I think, look, it's called a horse. And if it's called a horse, it should be a horse, even if it has the head and the body of a bunny.
Of a rabbit.
I allow it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
That's good. Let's move on to the next nomination here.
Oh, sorry.
All
Kadi's
right.
first, not me. Sorry.
So my final nomination is actually a horse that I discovered yesterday while doing research for this, which means screaming around the house, "What's a cool horse?" And my girlfriend showed me a clip from a film that I had never seen, the 1982 Rager, The Man from Snowy River, starring Kirk Douglas. And it is a Western set in Australia. And they are looking for horses, and they must rescue this herd of horses, of wild horses. There's a beautiful black stallion, but this is not the horse I am talking about. The important horse here is Jim's horse, because Jim is a very brave cowboy. He's very, very brave. And when all the horses, when the herd of horses rushes down a cliff, all the other cowboys who are trying to herd all these horses, they stop because they're like, no way, we can't. Like, this is a vertical drop. And Jim's horse is like, heck no, motherfuckers, we're going. And the horse proceeds to gallop down this straight hill. And Tom Burlinson, who plays Jim, is like basically holding on, but he's like basically lying on the horse's haunches as the horse runs down vertically. And it is, as a horse girl, you know, I played horses when I was a kid quite a bit. And I love horses. They're very soft and very, very smart, and they feel your emotions. This blew me away. Like the amount of strength that the actor had to have, but like just the pure beauty and gusto and fire in the belly of this horse made me have to nominate it.
Wow. Yeah. And it's a horse you just discovered, and it's already climbed to the top 3 of your list.
It's beautiful. It is such a beautiful scene. I will send it to you. You can share it with your listeners. It is, for people who actually enjoy horses, this is like a wicked horse.
Are you implying that we do not enjoy horses, Kadi? Is that your implication here?
I plead the fifth.
Wow. Well, I'm excited. You know what? You should send this clip during the break so that way we can watch it and really. So is it just called Jim's horse?
Yeah, the horse doesn't have a name. I looked it up. I did a deep dive trying to find the horse's name. Okay. It is not. And if you look up just the poster for The Man from Snowy River, you'll actually see this horse. It is that moment that is on the poster.
So again, when Kirk Douglas goes into the stable in the morning, he says, "Good morning, Jim's horse." This is another situation where the horse is unnamed.
100%. But Kirk Douglas also plays like a one-legged miner in the old, who's like trying to find gold, and he's very like kind of crotchety. It's kind of great.
Has Kirk Douglas ever played a role where he's not crotchety?
That is a very good question.
Default territory for him.
Stefan, you have the final nomination.
All right. Well, you know, here today so far, we've talked about film. We've talked about television. We've talked about books. But we have not touched upon the world of song and what it can teach us about how we relate to the animals around us. And I chose this as a not technically horse-forward option, but because of what we can learn about the relationship between man and horse and how we take some things for granted. And I am, of course, talking about the 1972 America hit, A Horse with No Name, and the titular horse from that song.
So you are nominating the
No,
song?
I am nominating the horse.
Is that what it is?
From the song.
The horse
I'm
from the
nominating
song.
a horse with no name, who is a horse,
Another one. Yet another horse. with no
from
name.
the song
Wow.
A Horse with No Name by America,
Yeah.
the British band.
And if I were to Google a horse with no name, would I be able to find said horse, or would it just be several horses with
I think
no
you
names?
get the lyrics for the song, which it is very clear that the main character in the song has only one horse.
Okay.
And
All
why
right.
I
I'm gonna
chose
go
this
with
was
it.
because the horse in the song, even though that it is named after the horse, if you read the lyrics, the horse kind of seems like an afterthought. The human is very concerned with his experience riding through the desert and how hard it is for him, but pays no mind to the fact that the horse is also going through the desert too. And in the penultimate verse of the song, simply lets the horse go because he arrives at the ocean.
This does not seem horse forward. This
Well,
doesn't
that's the
seem
thing.
like
It's
you.
not, but it does shine a light on how in much of the media we consume, the horse is often an afterthought or a sidekick. And I felt that
Oh.
it brings attention to to this new cause that I'm going to start a charity for right after this.
Do you have a name for that cause yet, or what do you think?
Probably it behooves me.
Boy.
Oh,
Thank you.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Well, we're going to take that
Thank you.
nomination.
Have you ever not
we're gonna
taken
take
a
it.
nomination?
I like it. I actually don't remember. I don't know. I've done so many of these now. But let's take a break. We have so many nominations that we have to mull over. And really, we have to give it some thought. Because when we're back, we're going to rank top 5 fictional horses. We'll be back. Neigh! Neigh!
Oh, you're looking so beautiful today.
Oh, I could stand to be more beautiful. Oh.
Oh, what's ailing your confidence? Why the long face?
I just feel like I need a new brush. Woo.
You don't love the fact that I've been brushing you with hay all these years? I thought that was the way to go.
I just want a brush from the internet. Ooh.
Oh, you want to be a cool horse.
I want to be a cool horse, and my other brother horses, they're all decked out in internet brushes.
Oh, that's true.
Hey, loser over there. Look at my hair. My hair is silky smooth, and also I have a fidget spinner.
Oh, how did you get that?
I ordered that on Amazon.ca.
Oh my, did you use the Pod Cavern affiliate link?
What? What? Why would I do that?
Oh, you fool! If you go to www.podcavern.com and buy through the Amazon affiliate link, it costs you no extra money, and it supports our good friends at the Pod Cavern who are hosting us in their stables. You fool!
Oh, does this mean that I'm not actually cool?
It means you're not actually a horse.
I'm not a horse. Then what am I?
A fool.
Oh.
Top five.
All right. Hey, everyone. We are back. We had a nice little break. We recorded probably the best Amazon affiliate commercial we've ever done in the Pod Cavern, which so excited for you guys to have heard that. And what were we talking about in the break? We talked about how the impending doom that's supposed to be coming. What did you cover? I was in the bathroom, so I came back and I heard a lot of nonsense being spilled out here.
Stefan loves getting tested for COVID-19, so he's done it 3 times already.
Oh,
Well, I've done it
yeah, you're an
twice.
expert.
Fingers crossed. I'll get that third.
Oh,
I'll do the 3-peat.
Is that a hat trick in getting tested, or?
I think. Well, I mean, the first test they lost, so I don't know if that even counts as a.
that's an amazing fact.
Honestly,
as a
that is
test?
insane.
Yeah, it was. It took them 2 weeks to figure out that they lost it. So even if I did have it, my quarantine period was over.
I trust our system to take care of
Oh,
it.
it's very
From
trustworthy.
From the moment they test you to when you get your results, how long is that?
It's supposed to be within 72 hours.
that's quick.
The second time it took them more than 72 hours. So, and I mean, I'm fortunate in that because I live with and am in a relationship with a healthcare worker, I have a special place I can go to to get tested.
Oh, specialty testing.
I mean, it's the same test, but it's really
Okay.
it's really strange because it's like it's in the parking lot of the MUHC, which is the super hospital in Montreal. And you drive in and you call them on the phone and you say, I'm here. This is my name. This is my info. I'm ready for my test. And then they come out and you roll down your window and some stranger reaches into your car, shoves the thing into your nose all the way into your head. They count to 10 and then they pull it out and then you drive away. Wow. It's a very strange experience.
I count to 10. Oof.
Their
Quite the
10-second counts have been very short, I have found.
And you complain, you want it to be longer.
Well, I want to make sure they're getting the best sample. So like, it's very uncomfortable when it's in there, but it's not life ending. So I'd rather that they kept it in for the appropriate amount of time and caused me a little bit more discomfort than have possibly a false result.
Very responsible of you.
The common good. The greater good.
Well, thank you for sharing that knowledge. Very good. But unfortunately, this is not top 5 tests. It's not top 5 tests.
That would be number one.
That would be number one.
Followed by the beep test.
Oh, no.
We're talking about horses, baby. Top 5 fictional horses. And we have quite the list in front of us. So in the order they were nominated, here they are. We have Pegasus from the animated Hercules. We have Shadowfax. We have Swift Wind from She-Ra. BoJack Horseman. Epona from The Legend of Zelda. Black Stallion. Little Sebastian. Trojan Horse. Spirit. Esquilax, Jim's horse from that movie, Man from Snowy Water. Is that what it is called?
Yes, it is.
And I have to be clear on this. The horse from the song,
Yes.
the 1972 song, Horse with No Name.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. It's not the song. It's the horse from the
It's
song.
a fictional horse.
Now, it's our responsibility to star nominations right now and really whittle this down to a top 5 list. Now, we don't have to go around the circle here. We can go in any order, but let's star some nominations. Don't star your own. I challenge you to just star someone else's and see where that
there
takes
go my
us.
3 stars.
What do you guys think? Let's start with Kadi. What do you have?
Okay, so I am digging Epona.
All right.
I also like Esquilax.
Okay.
Because
okay.
the horse of gods, yes.
Yeah.
I'm BoJack Horseman is a
Wow.
yes.
All right. What do you think, Vinny? What do you want to star a couple too?
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna star Swiftwind because I think I do enjoy that character greatly, as well as BoJack Horseman.
Okay, so that's
certainly the
definitely
most horse forward of the picks so far.
All right.
And I'm gonna go also with Epona. For purely sentimental reasons, because I love Zelda games.
All right, Stefan, what do you got?
Yeah. Do you get to start things too, or it's up to us now?
I'll start some stuff
okay.
if I feel like I want
If our
to or not.
suggestions are good enough for you.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
What do
So
you got?
I threw a star down next to Epona. I actually put a star down for all of Vinny's nominations: Shadowfax, Black Stallion, Esquilax. Wait, Esquilax was the Simpsons one, right?
Yeah.
I put this is just a star indicating that I want to talk about them more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is it's not going to get on the
I'm not
list.
showing
It's
my
just,
hand at all here.
No.
And then so I also I threw a star down beside Little Sebastian as well.
Okay, all right. So what we have starred so far is we have Epona, Shadowfax, Black Stallion, Esquilax, Swiftwind, Little Sebastian, and BoJack Horseman. That is 7. Is there anything else that you guys want to start? The one, and I know I said not to star my own, but here we are, is that is what do you guys think? I know Pegasus sounds like it's not a fan favorite here, which I'm fine with leaving. I mean, I think it's crazy, but whatever. But Spirit seem to have gone through quite a journey from that Rotten Tomatoes plot summary that I read. What are your thoughts on Spirit, the horse?
I just think
Just not memorable.
yeah, nobody cares about DreamWorks.
No.
I think that you could have gone for so many cool animated horses. Like, I think I would have voted for, what's her name? In Frozen, her water horse in Frozen 2, beyond Spirit.
Oh.
The water horse in Frozen 2 doesn't even. I mean, that's not the nomination. But
if we're going water horses, I would definitely pick the ones that are summoned out of the river in Lord of the Rings, the movie.
Oh,
True.
boy.
Yeah.
I see that we have two different nerddoms happening here.
Yeah, Battle of the Nerddoms. Spirit gets its own movie. Spirit has an entire movie, and it's very horse forward. So I thought that would be really, becomes leader of the pack. It goes through some trials and tribulations. It's an independent horse that gives no fucks. It falls in love. This horse. And it has Fabio hair.
The fact that you keep referring to the horse as it makes me think there was no actual connection between you and the horse.
That's true. And as we established, Matt Damon and his father was a black stallion. So.
Matt Damon's father was a black stallion. I don't know. I just feel like Spirit doesn't have a big enough piece of the cultural pie to warrant a star. I'm sorry, Tuong. But you got Epona. Okay. It seems like a big contingent of the four of us. I think all of us actually
have.
I think she's just pretty. Epona is like I've got Google imaged this horse and am.
Epona's pretty. Impressed. We all know this. We know Epona fucks, really.
Wow.
We know this. But we'll say goodbye to Spirit. Sounds like none of you have the spirit to have this, the heart and spirit to have this this horse in this list. So, okay, so here's the ones that weren't starred, just to make sure that we go through them and make sure that we don't need any further discussion about them. Jim's horse, we saw a YouTube clip of this horse basically going vertical down a mountain. That was cool.
Yeah, I have the same what's that word, reticence for that one, that it just doesn't have a big enough piece of the cultural pie.
Agreed.
So, I mean, it's a beautiful scene, really nice to see. Kirk Douglas dead, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that was recent.
Yeah, a couple months ago.
Yeah. So always nice to see him again. But
but he's not the nomination.
He's not the nomination.
It's the horse.
It's the horse.
Yeah.
Beautifully shot. Great horse footage. Great horsey scene.
Yeah.
But it's I don't have a connection. There's no connection.
Did you say horsey scene?
Yeah, horsey scene.
Now I'm picturing a director just being like, okay, and now today we have the horsey scene. I hope everyone's ready for the horsey scene.
And Trojan horse, I creative nomination here, but are we taking it or are we leaving it?
It's an inanimate object. I get it's a horse, and I like it for being outside the box thinking on horses, but. I mean, the story is not so much about the horse as it is a city falling for a really dumb trap.
This is the last time I ever speak to Vinny.
Wow.
I think what the Trojan horse lacks also is like clippity-cloppities, which I think is very important when we talk about horse.
Yeah.
There is no clip-clop.
Now, Stefan, if you nominated the Trojan condom, we'd be in a different conversation.
But that's not a horse at all, is it?
Not if you don't buy the ones that are shaped like horses.
Oh, okay.
Also, lack of clip-clop factor.
Well, maybe how you do it.
Maybe. Oh dear. Okay, and last but not least, the horse with no name from the song. We're also leaving this horse behind. It sounds like.
I think so. It seems like it.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't even have a name.
Yeah.
Well, that's the point. It's a social justice issue.
Yeah.
If you can't name it, you can't endorse it. I think that's the important part.
So does Black Stallion get off our list?
Yeah, fucking Black Stallion. All right.
My thing with the horse with no name is like, it sounds like even the song itself is not about the horse. And I know that's the whole point and the argument that you were making, but I just don't know enough about this horse to really care about it. So,
all right, that's fair. That's fair.
All right.
One funny thing that I read about the song is that the lyrics are notoriously bad. Really, if you read them, they're really bad. Like one of the lyrics is like, there were rocks and plants and other things. And so in the Wikipedia article, they talk about the band talking about it, and the band was like, well, yeah, like when we wrote those lyrics, we were all pretty high on marijuana. And then they were like, well, except for one guy, and so they were like throwing him under the bus that he's just like an idiot.
Yeah, it was the guy who wasn't high.
Yeah, that wrote these lyrics. Anyway, R.I.P. Horse with no name.
So once again, Epona, Shadowfax, Black Stallion, Esquilax, Swift Wind, Little Sebastian, and Bojack Horseman. Still 7. We need to cut 2 off this list to have a 5. What are we thinking here?
Okay, so I think that if we go on the same logic, technically we should be removing Black Stallion as well, although he is the blackest of all of our suggestions, so I feel a little bit torn. But
The Black Stallion also has a whole series, so I think that's a pretty
It's got a
big
huge, and it was made into several movies.
Yeah, several movies.
Yeah, so it seems like a pretty
Like,
a
I get
leader
the
of
name
pack.
part being pretty, like, hey, this Black Stallion, what should we name it? Black Stallion? Yeah, okay, let's go with that. But as far as horses go, it was a pretty kick-ass horse.
Yeah, I'm not willing to let that one leave yet. It sounds like it, and it's a constant winner, winning all of its horse races.
It's ridiculous.
The one that points out to me is that there's 2 lighter nominations here. One's Little Sebastian, which I love and not willing to get rid of.
No.
But the one that I think would be a funny gag to put on this list, but I don't think it should count, is the Esquilax.
I agree. I started because I really liked the joke, especially having watched the clip during the break. So I threw it a star for that reason, but I think we're talking 7th place. Or
I think that's fair.
Absolutely.
It's an honor to be nominated.
That's right.
Truly. All right. So now we got to cut one more. What else do we think here?
I feel like, well, Swiftwind. So the 3 that I would be looking at are Swiftwind, Shadowfax, and Epona, because I don't really know those ones. But you 3 have a deeper connection to those.
True.
I mean, I like Little Sebastian because he's modern, and I like Bojack Horseman because he's modern too, and like applicable for our times now.
A horse for our time.
A horse for my upcoming novel.
This is tricky.
Who do you think is the most famous horse we have right now?
I'd probably say Bojack Horseman would be the most famous.
Like
horse
modernly
on this list.
famous? Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
Historically famous, I feel like Black Stallion would win, though.
Yeah.
I feel like more people would
agree with
recognize
that.
Black Stallion than Bojack Horseman. Like our group obviously recognizes Bojack Horseman.
Yeah.
But
Because we're cool.
if there's one thing I've learned with this quarantine, it's that we live in a bubble.
And improv seems to be a strange bubble.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
I could have told you that before quarantine.
Here, let's tackle it in this way. Are there any nominations on this list that we're like, this is a lock? This is a unanimous, this will probably make the top 5. Let's lock it in, and then we can try to narrow it down this way.
I mean, the locks for me are probably Bojack, Lil Sebastian, Epona, maybe. I hesitate to push Shadowfax. Just 'cause it's probably not a lot.
So let's go like this. Does everyone think that Bojack Horseman is a lock?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Does everyone think Shadowfax is a lock?
No, because I can't. I'm really struggling with Shadowfax because there are too many horses in Lord of the Rings, and what makes Shadowfax cooler than like the water horses, for example?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, he is the god of horses, and the scene in the movie. It's in a movie that needed to be cut. They took the time to do this like 2-minute slow motion scene of a horse just gloriously riding down a pasture towards Gandalf.
Oh, so cool.
With a really cool whistle. And anyways, and in the books, he's a really just kick-ass horse too. But I get it. Like he's in Lord of the Rings, he's character probably number 200 on the list.
Sure. It's a pretty kick-ass horse too, though. I mean, like it stands out from the rest because it's a blindingly white horse.
Now I see what's happening.
Yeah. So if we're gonna I want some, variation in color of horses on this list, which is why I wanted Spirit to be on
And you
this
really
list.
wanted to include a white horse. Historically underrepresented, the beautiful white horse, as opposed to the Black Stallion, which is everywhere.
Yeah, it's exactly. You guys caught me. I have a political agenda for this episode for sure.
I knew this was an alt-right ranked.
But like the Shadowfax in the movie has like three like cool parts. It has the part where he gets introduced in that really slow-mo way. It has the one where like Gandalf, and I think it's the second movie, where he's like riding down this giant hill basically to join the fight.
The Battle of Helm's Deep.
That's right. And he like brings in reinforcements, and it's such a beautiful shot. And Gandalf and Shadowfax are leading the charge. And then there's one more where in the third movie is when they're fighting against Nazgul, which is like a giant, it's like a drake, like a dragon type of, you know, monster. And it's just Gandalf riding this like beautiful horse into battle, and basically trying to scare off this giant dragon, which is like, you know, 20 times the size of this horse. And this horse is just going for it. So it's a brave horse is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
I feel like the one that sticks out to me as something that could go is Swiftwind. But I don't I don't really know anything about Swiftwind.
Swiftwind has a lot of personality.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Because it's one of the talking horses. Go ahead.
He's a sweetheart. He loves the people that he is with. He feels a part of a best friend group. He's sassy also, which is kind of great for a horse, because if you've ever been around horses, they have pretty intense personalities.
Right.
So I would go to bat for Swift.
Is it
Who's
possible
left on the list?
Epona, Shadowfax, Black Stallion, Swiftwind, Lil Sebastian, Bojack?
Yeah.
Is it possible, though, that Swiftwind's personality, contrary to that of other horses, results from the fact that they are not an actual horse?
Wow.
Yeah. This is the thing that's catching me off guard here is that it's the only one, like Swiftwind was formerly a horse, that is undeniable, but by transforming into an alicorn, it's tough
Too brute.
There were ground rules, Kadi. There were ground rules.
Wow.
We established this.
His
alicorn
nickname is
thing
Horsey.
Was Horsey.
Was
Horsey. Not anymore.
Fine.
Yeah, like I could have the nickname Bear.
I think that has a different connotation if that was the case.
It does.
Wait, what?
And if you've ever seen Stefan, it's even better.
Yeah, I'm pretty textbook.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to agree. It's the least horsey of the ones that are left.
All right.
And I didn't want to bring it up, but because I feel like Shadowfax and Epona are kind of similar in that they're like nerd shit.
Yeah.
Well, you're saying that like it's a bad thing.
No, of course not. Nerds are cool now. Avengers and all that. So I kind of lump them into the same category, which makes me hesitate putting them both on the top 5. But Swiftwind, not a real horse. Great personality, but how do we know that's not the unicorn part?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
That's the
that's
thing.
fine.
You know?
I have accepted my fate.
I mean, these are getting to some tough calls.
Tough calls.
Again, it's an honor to be nominated. With
There you go. There you go.
There you go. Okay, so our list, what we have is we have Shadowfax, Epona, Black Stallion, Little Sebastian, and Bojack Horseman. That's 5. So that was pretty painless. Now we got to rank them from 5 to 1. So let's start with 5. And do a build up here. So what are we thinking here?
I mean, it's got to be Shadowfax because we were debating knocking them off.
I think Shadowfax should be number 5.
Agreed.
Yeah.
As sad as that makes me.
I'm just happy that Shadowfax is on the list.
Finally, people are hearing about J.R.R. Tolkien.
Finally.
Yeah, the white horse gets a place at the table.
That's all I wanted. That's all. This mega horse.
I'm pretty sure Shadowfax was born at the table.
Oh boy.
Was there any relationship between Shadowfax the horse and the fax machine, the invention?
Yes.
Actually?
No.
Oh, 100%. Because it is. Like, Shadowfax runs super fast.
Faxes are super slow.
Faxes are super fast. Well, they're faster than a telegram.
That's right.
Are they?
They were super fast back in the day.
Fax machine was named that because it was short for facsimile. I just looked that up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So raising the question, is Shadowfax's full name Shadow Facsimile?
I mean, facsimile of a shadow. I mean, is there anything swifter than a shadow?
That's true.
No.
You can never outrun your shadow.
So should Shadowfax be number 1 then, or what's it? You're arguing for Shadowfax.
I like number 5 for Shadowfax.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
so too.
What do we think for number 4?
I mean, I would say Epona.
I think first we need to figure out what makes a number 1 horse. Perhaps that might help us sort, because I don't know Epona. I have seen images and I'm very impressed by the prettiness, but I don't know by what to judge the greatest horse.
Right. This is tough. And maybe we have to go to like what is one of the more like culturally recognizable horses in, as well. So the one that stands out to me, although again, I freaking love this nomination. It was such a nice dark horse pick, which was the Lil Sebastian.
I could see Little Sebastian as 4 as well.
Yeah. I mean, as a horse, its accomplishments are relative to what the people around it did.
That's a good point.
More so than I'd say the others.
That's true. That's true. He just existed and brought joy to Honey, Indiana.
But Little Sebastian never really did anything besides Little Sebastian was just kind of there and everyone just loved Little Sebastian, and I did too. Great song. But in terms of like real accomplishments that we see in Parks and Rec, I don't know. I'm not sure. True. I don't even remember.
No, I'm in agreement.
I also feel like I come at this from like which horse is the most culturally significant, and I think that Little Sebastian is more of a flash in the pan. In 20 years, people aren't going to remember Little Sebastian, and maybe Bojack too. But Bojack, I think has more of a cachet.
Yeah, there's more cultural capital in Bojack.
Developed character.
Yeah, there's far more depth in Bojack for sure. Okay, I think Lil Sebastian number 4 makes sense to me.
I'll buy that.
All right. Now we're getting into the weeds here.
The top 3. Ooh, tough. Epona, Bojack, Black Stallion.
I mean,
I think I know my top 3.
I have my top 3 as well.
I think I have my top 3 too.
Should we all say them at the same time for maximum confusion?
Vinny, do you have a top 3?
I don't know. I don't know that I have a top 3. Does everyone have I think I have a 3. I don't know.
Like a
let's
number
just
3.
Say let's see what everyone's number 3 is. We'll start with Kadi. What do you have?
I have Epona as number 3.
Me too.
Vinny?
Me too. I know it's a tough one too.
Yeah, that's tough. I am very biased. I would put Black Stallion at 3, but that's the only thing.
My understanding was that this was a democracy, Tuong.
yeah, but no. Let's hear it out. What do you guys think? Why you think Epona? I'm pretty open to it. I'm not gonna fight too hard about this. I don't know how much more I have to say about Epona besides like a nostalgia thing.
I love. Like, as a hardcore Zelda nerd, I love the pick of Epona. I'm happy that it made top 3. But it's Bojack Horseman is the center of the whole series. It is a super developed character. It has a very well established kind of as a cultural place, and is the center of the cultural thing that it is from. Whereas Epona is a side character. It is not the Legend of Epona. It should be.
To be fair, isn't Zelda also a side character?
Well, less so than Epona. I mean, she's still a major character. But Epona is not the series is not axed on Epona, despite how wonderfully charismatic and emotionally. There are some emotional moments that come out of Epona.
I'm also trying to find images of Epona wearing a sweater or something to sway my non-gamer opinion.
And what'd you find?
Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah,
so I think
it has a kick-ass saddle.
Someone put henna on their horse, I think, to make it look sort of like Epona, but that's about it. So that cinched it for me.
That henna tattoo is not good enough. So All right, yeah, I hear the argument of the Epona is not the main show, and at number 3, I'm completely fine with that. I think the 1 and 2 spot should definitely be, Horse is the main character kind of thing. So yeah, let's put Epona number 3.
I would say Epona is very special to you, Tuong, but always remember that you are not special.
Wow, this is I'm learning a lot about myself in this episode. Great. Well,
not even in the top 5 ranked tongues.
Wow, I have my guest turn on me somehow. And number 2, what are we thinking here? Ooh. Like number 2 and 1 are easy in my head, but
I feel like the sense I'm getting is that everyone is leaning towards BoJack, which
number 2.
No, as number 1.
Ooh. Are we?
Well, I'm not. Even though BoJack is I feel like Vinny's leaning towards BoJack as number 1.
I'm torn. I'm very torn.
And I would love BoJack to win because he's my nomination. I stole him out from under Vinny's nose. But I think the Black Stallion is more important to the history of horses than BoJack Horseman.
But it's what we want because we get to be selfish.
Yeah.
And so for me, I would choose BoJack number 1, and recognizing that Black Stallion has accomplished a lot throughout its many series and whatever it is.
Why does it have to be about race?
It didn't have to be.
I mean, Black Stallion is a book series, it's basically a YA novel from the 40s that is still holds the test of time.
Sure.
It's such a simple story. It's a horse, like a young boy meets a horse on a ship. The ship gets wrecked and they live on the island until they're rescued. And then they form this bond while living together on the island. And then they go on to race and do all sorts of wonderful young adventures.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Question for you, Vinny. So the story for Black Stallion primarily revolves around this young boy and his horse, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Whereas BoJack Horseman has to do all about BoJack the Horseman.
Yes.
So
dropping that hammer.
Something to consider. I mean,
I'm gonna come back at that and say which one of the two is more horse, and we, on the basis that we dropped Swiftwind for not being straight up horse, I'm gonna. Black Stallion is the actual horse.
Vinny drops the gauntlet.
I like
the
Black
only last
Stallion
thing
I'm into it.
I think I'm going that way as well.
But one last final point before I completely give up is that BoJack has true character development throughout the 6 seasons that BoJack Horseman is going through. You have, and it tells like real stories that mimic real life in the sense that like it deals a lot with like depression and like drug use, and like it touches all these dark topics in a fun but insightful way. So for BoJack Horseman, like that character development, do we see character development in Black Stallion the horse, or is it just all the boy?
I mean, the Black Stallion doesn't even have a name, so hard to develop a character.
I mean, these are kids' books, so there's almost no character development. It's pretty much a formula of, boy meets horse, horse wins race. Like that's the general story. But I think we're looking for, we're doing a lot of anthropomorphism by looking for the humanity in BoJack Horseman and valuing that over his horseness, which ultimately isn't really what we value him for.
That's a very valid point.
But he's a fictional horse, and therefore he belongs on the list. So
yes.
we, taking into account, like really the ground rule was, is he a fictional horse? Great.
Yes.
So what do we judge his merit on versus Black Stallion? I'm just trying to look at when was the last time a Black Stallion thing came out.
Kadi, what do you think? I haven't heard where you're going to put these.
I am doing a deep Google right now to learn
what
as
is
much
a
as
horse?
Basically, it's like me love horses.
Yeah.
However, BoJack Horseman, who is he? So I'm trying to understand him. BoJack Horseman sounds like most mid-20s to mid-40s guys that I know. And I find that a bit challenging because it's not like who is your favorite hipster, it's your favorite fictional horse. And I don't necessarily, but I am also challenged by the idea that like Black Stallion centers a little white boy and his black horse who runs for him and wins races for him and saves his ass all the time. So I am very torn. If we're going for like fun potential, I would put BoJack first. But if we're going for horsiness, in all honesty, Black Stallion may have to get my reluctant vote for number one.
And I will also add, in the Black Stallion Wikipedia entry, the Black Stallion was described by the New York Times as the most famous fictional horse of the 20th century.
Well, did they watch BoJack Horseman? We don't even know.
That's 21st century.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Did anyone else read the Wikipedia article list of fictional horses?
I scanned it quickly, but I did not read it.
It's very funny that that's there. Anyway,
and
sorry.
yet also surprising.
Yeah, sorry, Tuong, you were saying something.
No. Well, the Black Stallion Wikipedia page, which is, it's Godspell here, is that the last thing that came out for it is 1983. And it hasn't really resurfaced in, today's culture. And yeah, for several years, since looks like the 40s, Black Stallion was a huge thing. But it seems to have tapered off.
But we still know it. If you say the Black Stallion, people still know to what you are referring.
And if you say BoJack,
when someone says the Black Stallion, I just picture a very large black man.
There was a 2003
well, this is not about your own issues, Tom.
Not on your own time.
Yeah, that's fair.
Tongue, there was a 2003 movie made.
There was. Okay,
yeah,
that's
asshole.
not on the Wikipedia page.
It is as a movie.
All right, I have no further argument for BoJack. I just wanted to give him his fair shot. And so we're happy with Black Stallion being number one, just to be clear.
Yeah, I think
it makes the most sense.
All right. So what we have is number 5, Shadowfax. Number 4, Little Sebastian. Number 3, Epona. Number 2, BoJack Horseman. And number 1, the Black Stallion. Doesn't even have a name and it wins number 1.
Look, we might have to write the next book and give him a name. And I think that his name should be Lil Black Stallion. And it would be great. Like it's a great name.
Yeah, I like that name more than the other name that you were going to name your own horse one day. I hope they don't release that in the movie theaters.
Can you imagine? That same director. And now we're going to do a horsey scene. Oh, jeez. All right. So we are in the honorable mentions section of the podcast here. And really, we're just going to give props to all of the horsies that were not mentioned. So how we'll do it is we'll just one by one rapid fire all the rest of the horses that we have on our list. And we don't have to go into a huge thing about it. We'll just list them off. So my other horse that I have was Bullseye from Toy Story.
Oh, yeah.
Good one. I also had...
Wait, just one?
Yeah, one at a time.
Oh,
we'll just keep going around.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had the seahorse from The Little Mermaid who presents Sebastian, who is really cool.
Cool.
Nice. I had Uni. We disqualified unicorns, but I had Uni from the Dungeons and Dragons animated cartoon from the 80s.
God. Unicorn's name was Uni? Yep. Oh my God.
And I brought him up earlier, but Maximus, the horse from Tangled.
Yeah.
Very good. I was going to go Khan, the horse from Mulan.
Oh, yeah.
Mulan's horse. Also very feisty.
Very nice. I had the colt from the Fierro l'été des secrets, a Quebec film for children set in Argentina.
Nice.
Wow, someone's an artist.
Someone's francophone.
Yeah, someone has good taste in things.
My next pick was going to be another video game horse, Aggro from Shadow of the Colossus.
Good horse. Good horse. Mine would be from the video game or the book or the Netflix series Roach from The Witcher.
Oh, yeah. Wait, is it my turn? Did I miss my turn?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I think I missed my turn.
completely stepped into
So this one was called into question for me earlier. I wrote down Bad Horse from Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. Have you seen it?
I have.
Yeah.
I believe at the end, when they pan around the table of villains, Bad Horse is an actual horse. But then my girlfriend this morning was like, it's not an actual horse. It was like, he's just called Bad Horse. I couldn't remember. Anyway, that was mine.
Cool.
Okay, another one that was just barely on my list was Artax from The Neverending Story.
Okay. All right. I don't know that one.
Oh, it's important.
I had Bill the Pony, the horse that carries stuff for the Fellowship of the Rings in Lord of the Rings. A lot of horses in that story.
Yeah.
Wow. There's a ton.
My next two are kind of related. I said the actual horses from the 4 horse riders of the apocalypse, but none of them have names. And then related to that is Binky, which is Death's horse in the Discworld novels.
Oh, wow.
I could do nerd shit too, guys.
Yeah.
Wow, you are a nerd, Marvel. Speaking of, Sylvester Stallion is a very, very, very niche Marvel character. It's just, it's a horse that wears boxing gloves and just looks like Sylvester Stallone.
I got Starlight from Rainbow Bright. I have just dated myself. But he has great eyelashes and eyeshadow, so yeah.
Really. I'm out. We've gone through all my horses.
All right.
I had one more, which was just for me, and I never would have nominated it anyway, but I always like to give a good plug for mid-2000s metalcore bands. So I would have chosen Horse the band, pioneers of the Nintendo Core sound.
Amazing.
Wow.
Also, related to that, the band of Horses.
Wow. Kadi, do you have any more?
I do. I have the horse from Gumby.
Oh,
yeah. Also the neigh, because I think that's an important thing to mention.
And my final ones are some Pokemon, Rapidash, and Ponyta. So that's some nerd shit right there, just passing it around. And no one said Secretariat.
Well,
Yeah.
there's a whole movie about Secretariat.
Yeah. Seabiscuit
Yeah.
and Secretariat are fictionalized versions of real horses.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But that's all of our horses. We did it, everyone.
Yay.
Yay. Well, thank you guys for being on the cast here. Vinny, thank you for being on the cast. Do you have anything to plug for the people at home?
You know what? I just did my last episode of online streaming shows. No, I don't have anything to plug.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Do you have any like recommendations of like a movie or like a video game that you recommend for the people in quarantine right now?
Very close to finishing a video game that I've been crazy enjoying, Hollow Knight.
Oh, very
It's
good.
really, really fun in the Metroidvania style of game. And I'm pretty picky about those, and I might be making it into my top 10 all-time games because I think it's so well done.
Wow.
Save that for another podcast, Vinny. If you're ranking
top
things
10
other than
podcast?
fictional horses.
And we only do top 5 around here. Kadi, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you know what? By the end of this, we weren't at each other's throats as much as I thought. So
No, me neither. I'm quite happy I'm quite happy that the friendship continues.
yeah, I mean, I'm a little disappointed that our white horse was number 5, but just kidding. What do you have to plug for the people at home?
Yeah, so I am one of the co-hosts of a podcast called YA! YA, and it's about young adult literature and what it can teach us at any age, and it's basically a very intersectional take on young adult fiction.
Fantastic. I love it. And finally, last but not least, thank you for Stefan. Thank you for calling in. I know you're sick, but somehow you really wanted to talk horses today, and that would not stop you.
I would have felt so guilty bailing on this thing.
Well, I'm glad you came in because you had some hot takes.
I hate you and your puns. I hate them.
Oh, that's a pun. Oh, wow. I didn't even notice.
Didn't even know
pun.
it. It was just like
Imagine.
second nature for him.
Imagine that.
Do you have any plugs for the people? Thank you for being on the cast.
Not what do I have? I mean, when the world comes back, check out the show Hot Seat at Montreal Improv. That's a very fun show. And while quarantine is happening, I've been reading a lot of books. So I would recommend We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Barry and Weather by Jenny Ophel.
Wow.
Those tickled my fancy quite a bit.
Good recommendations, and we hope to see you back on Top 5 Tests.
Oh, yeah, I like that one.
You do have hot takes. Okay, great. And for me, you can find the rest of the shows in the Pod Cavern, www.podcavern.com. We have a ton of shows in there and more to come. So tune in, stick around, and yeah, we are all going to get on our fictional horses and ride away into the sunset. Here we go. Clop, clop,
Clippity cloppity, clippity cloppity, clippity
neigh,
cloppity.
neigh. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.